Welcome back to what Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a WZ-131, the Tier 7 Chinese light tank. This one's located on the south spawn of Fisherman's Bay, and of course he's under the command of the BassmanFromHell. Yes, we're doing a series of his videos, and he's in the Chinese light tank again. Battle started. Well, as you may know, it's only got an 85mm gun, but it can do 200 alpha, which is more than you can get from a T-34-85. It's very light, so it's quite fast. Nippy, you can see he's moving here at 60 kilometers an hour, but it's fairly light on armor as well, so you don't really want to get hit too much. 900 hit points, yeah, you can see virtually all of that disappear very quickly. It's a tier 8 game, so he's going to be seeing some higher tier opponents, and he's found some straight off the mark, deciding which one he's going to go for. He didn't get through the side of the 7032. Now, he was spotted, and I tend to fire at that corner if I'm in an Arty, and there is an Arty on the enemy team. It's a GW Panther. So going to this corner is very, very dangerous. And in fact, actually, it's more dangerous for that UDES, because that's the easy spot to hit with an Arty. Where Bassman is more difficult. He hits his opposite number for 232, a high roll, pulls back into cover. That Scorpion is taking a bit of a risk as well, because he's in a position where our SU-14-2 can possibly, or SU-14-1 rather I should say, could do a lot of damage. Oh look, the Super Hellcat was in plain view. And he tried a snapshot, it didn't work, but I think he can go back and do it again. He will be unspotted now. Well, you haven't got much in the way of gun depression actually, for that matter. Puts one in, takes one back. Unfortunately, the 90mm round that came back did 244, which is, I believe, a high roll. So I think it's 240 alpha. Well, anyway, the Super Hellcat met his doom at the hands of that 14.5. That WZ-131's back! Hello, my pretty. Take a round. 223, high roll again. Again, he's using the house to good effect. Don't stick out too much, because you will get around from the Arty. Okay, that WZ-131's relocated. He's gone over to the west side of those buildings. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Don't flip yourself. He was trying to turn around, and the worry about these light tanks is you can easily flip yourself if you go up against the wall like that, and all of a sudden you find yourself sitting on your side, rather embarrassed, asking for help, saying, "Can you please right me?" Be very careful with these vehicles. They are very light and very easy to flip. I know from embarrassment that I've flipped them more times than I care to explain, unfortunately. It's very embarrassing when it does happen, especially when you happen to be the only light tank that made it into the enemy territory and could literally run riot around the enemy team, and unfortunately you then flip yourself on a bank. And you have to sit there saying, oh, why did I do this? Trying to get a shot on the M49L, M449L rather. He's not going to get a shot. Well, is he? He's reloading with heat. Side of the turret? Nope, didn't get it. It's very difficult to tell at this range, because that's such a long range shot. And he was seen. Can't stay still for too long once you've been spotted, because the GW will say, oh, that's a tasty stationary target. I'll have that. .703 is making his way south. In fact, it looks like the enemy team has actually blasted their way through the town. Our Arty is about to die. It's not looking good. With 4 tanks down on the enemy, all the guys are in the town. It's now going to be down to Bassman, and he did get a track on the Tiger P, but it didn't go through the actual hull. Just knocked off his tracks. Can he get shot into that M4? He's trying to decide. He's at maximum range, so they can't see him, but he can see them quite nicely. And he actually has picked up his spotter badge. We've lost our Arty now. Now, he's going for the front plate of that AMX, so he's thinking about it. And he's picked up a load of spotting there. So that was useful. He's allowing those guys on the over here to actually have a free hand at shooting all the enemy attackers on the west side, on the east side rather. He's still doing a good job because he's keeping the enemy. Look at the range, the range circles. You can actually see that he's actually keeping these guys lit beyond the range of our tank destroyers, which means obviously that they're going to be shooting at targets where the enemy can't see them. And he's just decided now to sit in the bush and allow his teammates to go to work on them. This is good work. This is good work. Oh, patrol duty already. Very nice. Excellent. This is what a light tank's designed to do. Find the enemy, let the tank destroyers and the mediums lay into these guys. It looked like it was going to be a loss. There are only 3 tanks down now, but potentially they could actually win because the enemy's just going to beat themselves to death trying to corner all of our guys. And so long as they can see the enemy and the enemy can't see them, they can do the damage. Well, we're 4 tanks down again. But I still say they got the advantage. He's asking for fire on the 703 too. I think the Tiger P's taking the pasting at the moment though. Yes, shots going in behind. Unfortunately, we are still losing tanks, but we're down to 3 now. Only 3 down. He could hit that Scorpion, but he doesn't need to now. He's just not revealing himself because he doesn't want to give away his position to the enemy. Why should he? He's actually picking up credits. Every shot that hits the enemy, half of the credits are going to him. Well, not half the credits, but he's earning half the XP and some of the credits. It really does make a big difference to the team. They've managed to claw back. And they're now just 1 tank down on the enemy. But the enemy just cannot come in from the east side of the map without being spotted and without being destroyed. In fact, it's got to the point now where some of our heavy tanks could start moving up the west side to start putting the pain on the enemy at the other end. In fact, Bassman's saying, do you want me to get killed by the 703? Yeah, that's why he wasn't opening fire. I think the enemy, his teammates don't understand the role he's actually playing. He's not shooting because he's spotting guys, and if he fires, he will get spotted, and then he won't be shooting at all. He can't move because there is a Spaghetto somewhere up there on that ridgeline, and the Spaghetto will have fairly good view range. The others are saying attack. I just don't think they understand the role he's playing here, but it's impossible for the enemy to get near the cap. They just cannot do so. They do, he'll see them, and then his teammates will nail them. Okay, the Carnarvon's going north, the Emil's going north, the T-44-100's going north. He spotted the 703 again, and the 703 is actually retreating. He's headed east, not towards the cap. He knows he can't get near the cap without getting spotted, so he's decided to defend his cap, and our guys are headed north to try and deal with the enemy and get to their cap. Their Emil goes down. The Carnarvon finished off the Emil. If the T-44-100 could find that T-34-2 GFT. And now Bassman's decided to move because the 703 is not in position. The Progetto is at maximum range. He's not going to get spotted if he heads south. He's decided to go the long way round. And now if he can spot the 703 as he retreats, it's intelligent play what he's doing at the moment. He really is doing it the intelligent way. Just find the enemy for his teammates. There's only 3 enemies left. He doesn't want to blunder straight into that 703 because he could finish off Bassman with just one double blast from his gun. Or guns, I should say. Ideally, he just wants to keep the 703 in sight if he can spot him. And they found the Progetto. Okay, so Bassman's going the long way around here. Around the outside. I think he might actually be considering looking for the GW Panther. Now, they're all focusing now. They've got the T-34 2GFT. It's just a matter of finding the 703 and the Arty, the GW Panther. They must be in the northeast corner of the map. And how the tables have turned now. There's the 703s up in the north. They haven't found the GW. It means GW must be in the corner, northeast corner, right next door to the water. And the tables turned, and, well, the GW, where did he go? What happened to him? We'll have to look that later and find out exactly what happened to that GW, because I didn't see the GW die, but he did die. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's the second class tanker for the Bassman from Hell in the WZ-131. He managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage in that game, and he got a patrol duty for being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks whilst they were damaged. And his win rate from the game was 1,110, but don't let that deceive you. The fact is, he was doing a huge amount of damage on the enemy by virtue of just staying still and spotting them. Let's have a look at the team scores. Again, didn't do a lot of damage, 637, most of that done at the centre line against the enemy, but the high scorer was in fact the WZ-131 with 3,965. He managed to get a Brothers in Arms and high caliber, and he also platooned with the Carnarvon, who also got a Brothers in Arms and a steel wall. And you can see when it came to kills, 5 kills for the Carnarvon, 4 kills for the UDES, 2 for the Emil, and 2 for the UDES 14.5. No kills for Bassman, but he's not worried about that, because look at this. When you look at base XP, you can see that the WZ-131 managed to get 981 based on that high caliber, but Bassman was just behind him with 959. And why? Because he spotted most of his damage, and that's why he earned such a high base. Let's have a look at 8 shots fired, 7 direct hits, good marksmanship, but unfortunately only 3 penetrations. Yes, the 85mm gun wasn't powerful enough to take on some of those tanks that he fired at. Damage of 637 hit points, all of it at close range. Received 1 hit, it was a penetration, that was from the Hellcat who fired back at him. And he spotted 5 enemy vehicles, damaged 4 of the enemy, and there's where he earned all the XP. Look at that, 5,198 hit points of spotting assist. He was spotting the enemy couldn't see his tank destroyers who were behind him, and they were reaping the benefits, and that was that UDES and that Carnarvon who were literally piling in on the enemy tanks. He earned 42,596 credits from that game, got 14,483 from Holy Ops, and his total 57,079. And even after repair and ammunition resupply, and again he didn't fire much in the way of ammo, although he did fire some premium rounds, he still came away with a big profit of 42,100 credits. He received 1 bond for getting the patrol duty, and 1,438 XP, times 2 for the first victory, took away 2,877 experience points altogether. He says, at times, you've just got to be passive. Exactly right. Like tanks, they're supposed to find the enemy. They're not supposed to actually hit the enemy, unless, of course, they can harry the enemy and just generally annoy them towards the end of the battle and let his other teammates then get the big hits. So, if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.